ability to have developed so quickly as she did, like the difference between the first set of exhibition matches and last week was absolutely insane. And I've never seen such like great improvements in laning in such a short period. So it's really nice to see that.
And welcome back to the Riot Games Arena for game number 2 of our best of 3 of the third game match. Once again, Arcana taking game 1 against Serenity. I'm Camcom, that's Cubby. Ready for game 2 draft?
I'm excited. And I gotta say, like, I love what Ayukura's talking about with some of the improvement. And I gotta say, speaking of improvement, I think that was Aquatic's best game of the tournament so far. And at the right time, she was great on that Jax. Love how she found an advantage level 1 from sneaking into that tri-brush, and it really felt like she was able to drive that home throughout the entire match. That's something that we haven't really seen Aquatic do so far in the tournament. So improvement at the right time is fantastic, and I think it was a big difference in helping Arcana overcome Serenity in game 1.
And I love how that also wasn't her first game on Jax. That's actually one of her most played champions here at the LCS Game Changers, right? But that's the first time that we've seen her play Jax that way, where she looked for the lead all the way from the start of the game, all the way from level 1, and then she was able to maintain and even snowball that lead all the way to the end of the game victory screen. Looks like we have changed sides now. It is still loser take side select game 2, so Serenity has now opted to swap back to the blue side here.
And I'm curious if we see Arcana take away Orianna, because Orianna ended up being a really big pick for Miss Teemo, who again has shown a lot of improvement throughout this event. In the mid lane, I know that Ayukura talking about. I love hearing her talk about just how many people have gotten better throughout this event. That is really what it's about in any team that you participate in. So I think the fact that we actually see the Jax taken away, I'm curious how much priority we put on Orianna. Cam, it's already being hovered and it's locked in.
If Orianna is not banned, she will be picked should basically be the message of this tournament, right? I think Rel is up there as well. Rel will always be banned. You cannot talk about Rel without mentioning that Heloisia is the rank 1 Rel in NA. Still 100% ban rate against her. Not going to be seeing that lifted anytime soon. I think Orianna basically at this point as well has almost hit 95+% presence here in the LCS Game Changers. Cinder versus Orianna as well. The mid lane matchup that we've seen by far the most common here.
Yeah, and this is a matchup that historically was Cinder favored, but after the changes, Orianna's Q is on a lower cooldown, and I think that in lane, it's a little bit Orianna favored. And I think that Serenity, so in the mid lane for Miss Teemo, her Ori is actually 4-0. And then the Azir is 2-1. Each of these mid lane champions provides a lot of push, which I think also helps enable Shapeshift, as she likes to usually play full clear junglers or play to get ahead and then snowball leads from there. So I really like this pickup from Serenity. Of course, Syndra plus Jarvan can put a lot of pressure on any mid laner that's immobile in the mid lane. So that's something that we're going to have to look out for from Miss Teemo. But looks like we're going to get the same matchup, Cam, as Xin Zhao's locked in again.
Once again, it was the J4 picked R1, R2 in game 1, and then the Xin Zhao V2, V3.
Little flip-flop.
Same exact thing, except now flip-flopped for the different teams. So I actually like that we get the same matchup, but instead the same champions, but on different players. So we do get to see how well do they know this matchup from both sides. And I think that definitely speaks to how comfortable these players are on a champion, where you can't just know one side of these jungle matchups. You have to know both sides, and you have to be able to play them at the exact same caliber of play that we're playing here today.
Love the fact you bring that up, Cam. Do want to return to the pick ban as a fun fact, Aquatic. Her middle name is actually Camille. So Camille is locked in for Aquatic on the top side. That Rengar ban, you might be scratching your head as to why you see Rengar on the ban list. Well, Cam, why do we see Rengar on the ban list?
I wonder, why do we see Rengar on the ban list? Yes, Shysept coming out of solo queue here. I believe with the 70% win rate, something absolutely ridiculous with the Rengar top lane. You would have thought that was jungle or some other role. Like, no. Shysept will be holding down the Rengar strongly solo in this tournament and banned away for the first time here.
I like the Renata ban from Arcana. Heloisia is actually 2-0 on the pick, and that tells me that we could see a Nautilus once again coming in from Shirley. Really sound in game 1. That Nautilus taken away by Serenity.
I was gonna say, yeah, Renata is a really good counter pick for Nautilus,
Yeah.
but let's just not see either of those champions. I think Rakan, yeah, Rakan is still left unbanned and unpicked. Rakan has been a surprisingly high prior for sports, as well as Braum throughout the LCS game changers here.
Yes.
So I would not surprised to see one, if not both of them, locked in here. Braum definitely much more
Like
picked
Rakan
by
here.
Billy Worth, the Astrocat support, but I would not be surprised to see him picked here. Ryle, though, going back to the Vayne. Gotta love the Vayne.
Well, that is a champ that Ryle has played before, and she was pretty good on the champion. Yumichi as well on this area again. Yumichi is a marksman I really respect. I think her POV, I had the pleasure of actually watching some of like her tape directly. She is really good at finding marksmen that can go in and pick the spots. So
Yes.
Zeri is definitely a marksman that fits that. Will be paired up with the Rakan, and now top lane for ShySep. Renekton was a pick that we saw ShySep play, but Kale has actually been banned from ShySep for the entirety of the tournament. I will say Camille is a very good matchup into the Kale, but ShySep has finally gotten her hands on Kale in this tournament.
I was talking to ShySeps earlier this week, so I was asking her, why has Kale been banned against you every single game so far of the LCS game changes? And she said, I don't know, I just like to play the champion. I think she's fun. And she's being very modest in that and saying, like, she's probably one of the best Kales on this server. So
Yeah.
even if it is a little bit of a counterpick matchup, right? She has won previous counterpick matchups here in the LCS game changers. So she is no stranger to that. Shirley Lockett in the Lulu, if you watched the last game of last week, I absolutely lost my mind watching Shirley play Lulu. She just smurfed, and you also remember I said next week if we see a Lulu, I expect the crowd to be as popped off as I am about this Lulu, so y'all better be excited.
Wow, I've never heard so many cheers for Lulu.
Let's go, Lulu!
All right, Cam, you got a special power up here. As I will say, I think Lulu pairs very well with Jarvan as well as the Vayne. One thing that Arcana will have to be aware of, though, is that if Kale is able to get going, Kale can really snowball and really scale into the game. So I think the early stages of this game will be very red side favored with the Jarvan able to make plays. But I'm curious how much they decide to pressure ShySep on the Kale, because once she gets access to level 6, it is a lot harder to gank top lane.
And that is something that we saw a lot in week 1, actually, of the game changers, where ShySep was really strong in the 1v1 for top lanes.
Yeah.
But then the second that MP came up to the top lane, the second that any other jungler of the tournament, right, came up top lane, it was just so much harder for her to actually be able to find a lead. And again, going back to Aquatic, she had a fantastic game 1, but love to see her have just as great of a game 2 here as we do move right back on the Rift for game number 2 of our best of 3.
Folks, we've been pretty loud in the arena. Give it up one more time for these two teams hit the Rift for game 2. Listen to that. Not bad. Not bad. That's a pretty good audience we've got. It's great to see everyone coming out for LCS game changers. And hey, game 1, Cam, back and forth, a lot of punches thrown. Serenity found ways to bounce back later on in the game, but if they want to push this to a game 3, you can see a little bit of a stronger early game from them. And honestly, I'm looking at mid jungle. I think Xin Ori can make a lot of plays onto Syndra. Curious to see if that works. But before we dive into this game, we have a sideline interview with Ashley and Serenity's coach, Long.
Hey, hey guys, can you hear me? I am joined by the head coach of Serenity as we head into game 2 of the series, and you guys have iterated quite a bit in terms of the draft as we headed into game 2. Can you tell me more about it, and would you say that you prioritize towards drafting topside this time?
I mean, definitely, I think we made a lot of adjustments going into game 2. I think we talked about dropping support a bit more to give more counter picks. And obviously, we're still prioritizing the same things, just in a different order, I think. So I'm pretty happy with this draft. I think the players are as well. You know, this is something that we've been practicing. Like, teams have been banning a lot of Kale against us, so I'm happy to see it go through, and I'm happy to see ShySep, you know, smurf it up.
Okay, we'll definitely watch some smurfing up from ShySep as we continue into the series. Back to the casters.
And what a better game for ShySep to get that Kale than the one that matters most. They have to win this game to continue on in the tournament, right? They lose this game and we're immediately going to the finals.
And again, as you highlighted, Cam has been banned away from the majority of the tournament. Head coach there, excited to get hands on the pick. And we'll see if ShySep can cash it in. As one of the more interesting parts about this matchup, Cam, is actually going to be that our jungle paths, it's going to be mirrored clears. So we have Xin going from top to bot. MP, they're going to go bot to top. So maybe looking to pressure It was Kale later on, but Shysept with that lethal tempo, able to brawl in early levels against Camille. Camille needs 3 levels to try and make some plays. And speaking of 3 levels and making plays, MP, they're showing mid.
MP showing mid does set about 60% of their HP though, so it'll be a little bit more difficult
Miss Teemo's on the wrong side of the
for
lane.
them to gank. Miss Teemo playing on the bot side of the lane. MP not quite in range to land an EQ or any sort of full engage there, but just showing some pressure and soaking some XP for themselves there.
Yeah, frankly, I like the idea as, hold on.
Oh, flash in the bot lane, Ryle flash forward, trading for the first blood. Now you got the support versus support 1v1 as a Lulu player. I say Lulu wins this every time, so Lucia will walk away from that one.
Okay, bloody early on as every sunburn in the bot lane too. I think the idea, I want to return to that mid lane look from MP. I think the idea from them to go mid's good, but just showing a little bit too early as, again, I think whoever gets ahead mid could actually snowball that into other lanes. His bot lane
the
action packed
exhaust.
always. Exhaust big, nice W as well from Heloisia to make sure that Yumichi's at least able to trade out. Ryle just able to find that auto in the back half to make that an honorable 2v2 as each marksman picks up a kill.
I think this goes back a little bit as well to Ryle in the intro video for today. Talked about how she plays AD carry a little bit differently from most other AD carries, right? Where most AD carries play not to lose lane. No. Ryle plays very aggressively. She will play to win lane every single time, even if she knows she is in to one of those counter pick matches. And you saw that right there where not only she queued forward, but then she also flashed forward as a level 2 Vayne. And that alone got her the first, or not the first, but the 1-for-1.
I mean, someone that it really feels like is kind of the main character of this team, Ryle, as she's been really good throughout game changers. And again, opportunity to pop off here as does have Lulu to empower. Shirley does get caught. Shapeshift looking. Oh, just short.
So close there for Shapeshift. Lucia taking a little bit of a chunk there for that micro mistake as well. I don't think there was a world that Shirley would have died there. She was holding on to the flash. So either way, it would have been a flash or nothing burned up there. But now looking back to the top lane, MP waiting in the wings. Shysept is a pre-level 6 Kale. Gotta remember, very easy to gank a pre-level 6 Kale. Will be at the first flash burn. It could be a very easy re-gank if MP wants to path back top.
Frankly, Shysept's okay with how things are going so far. Shysept, she's up CS against Camille. This is a matchup where I think if jungler comes up, Camille has a lot of gank assist and damage from the empowered Q and can really engage on Kale and finds those bursty trades, which is really good for this matchup. But Shysept actually going to have Shapeshift hover her on the top side. I like this from Shapeshift, just ensuring that Shysept can get this wave in, even gonna show. And I think this is good knowledge of how this matchup's played in the top side. Because again, if Kale's able to get 6, she has range, able to start free scaling in the top side. And Kale in the later stages of the game can really take over Kale.
Right? This entire team around Serenity has been built around scaling. The longer that this game is, I guess not 0-0 anymore, but 1-1, right? As long as they can go even in the first 15 minutes of the game, that is what Serenity is going to excel at the best. They're going to far out and away outscale Arcana unless they somehow, Ryo, I mean, she did last game, so I'm not going to discount her at all, but unless she gets another, like, 6 kills in landing phase, right?
Yeah, I think anyone that discounts Ryle is going to end up with more gray screens than they'd like.
Very true.
And Nexus blowing up, not in their favor, as we saw in that first game. But hey, Yumichi, I think she also had some really good moments. Of course, we put a spotlight on the marksman. There was a great promo video the LCS Futures team was actually able to make for LCS Game Changers that interviewed all 3 marksmen. A lot of mutual respect between these 3 players, and a couple players I've seen compete at a very high level. So I think we saw some good moments still from Yumichi as she tried to bounce back in that last game, and already a better setup early on in this game.
I think it is funny that this is a best of 3, but if we're looking at the grand scheme of the entire tournament, remember, this is kind of a best of 9. This is our game 8 of the best of 9. Our Serenity need to win the next 2 games to move forward in the finals. Arcana, they have a little bit of a safety net with this game, but even then, they need to win this game or the next game to verse Ashta Cats later today for that trophy.
Yeah, for context, the first 3 weeks of play, these 2 teams split 1-1 all 3 weeks. So, of course, the best of 3 today, the rubber match, the deciding factor, as Shapeshift going to wrap up the second part of the clear. It takes a pit stop for that dragon, and while that's taken, Shysept,
no flash on the Kale, holding the ult for as long as she can, but of course, still in a mobile KL. Not much she can do there. Really nice re-gank by MP, and just like that, a second kill picked up for Arcana.
Love that play from MP, and frankly, when it comes to MP as a jungler, it feels like they've been a little bit more supportive compared to some of the other junglers that we've seen in the tournament. But when MP does decide to drop camps, I think they make really good decisions, and that's one. The revisit got flashed the first time. That wasn't really able to punish the kill too much, but this time around, able to actually get up there. Now gets the TP out of Shysep. So frankly, we'd love to see MP take another pit step up there. If Camille gets ahead and gets an early Sunder in this matchup, Camille can't really pressure. Whereas, oh, hold on, Ryle.
Ryle has flash. Will be forced to flash away, but the Ignite ticking down, and Lucia followed up with the flash. Really well done there by the bot lane of Serenity. So often do those plays get turned for Ryle 1v2, but not this time.
Yeah, and I want to credit Yumichi. She was able to chain the Zeri W with the W from Aloysia. So that's really well done by the bot lane of Serenity, and much needed again as that bot lane kill now opens up things. It's Ryle has to get back out on the map, walking with Lulu at the moment. Bot lane off the map. They know they're going straight bot. Guess what? Serenity feel like they're able to take a free Herald as Shysept also had push in the top side, and things looking really strong for Serenity early in this game too.
I love when Herald is taken, like, almost at the same exact time as the Dragon. Of course, this one was just, you know, like 30 seconds after that first Dragon, right? It was so close. And still, both of them went to Serenity. This is the team, once again, that was 8,000 gold down last game. In this game, it's always so even. Even if there is a massive lead, there's not right now, but they're so good at bringing it back in their favor that I'm once again saying we're looking for a game 3.
And I think that's something that I like going through the tape because I was kind of playing catch up the last few days. I was really impressed with Serenity on day 3. I thought they actually made really good decisions as a team of 5. And
yeah,
a lot of that snap decision making was actually around Miss Teemo's Orianna, who again is 4-0 on this pick so far in the tournament. And talking with Perchance, the manager of Serenity early on, you know, Miss Teemo, she came in as the lowest ranked mid laner. Ayukura and Fairy Girl, both very talented to both hit Challenger. Miss Teemo is not yet, but Perchance was so impressed with Miss Teemo, she was taking meticulous notes as she was getting one-on-one coaching. And Miss Teemo, according to Perchance, really embraced the fact that she was the lowest ranked mid laner at this event and tried her best to work hard to catch up. And that's a nice sidestep there on Ayukura. Again, it's tough to play in a Cinder Jarvan. Another one from Miss Teemo. See if she decides to rip a shockwave. Not going to be the case, but I really feel like we've seen good improvement from Miss Teemo throughout this event.
She did all of those Faker Feet sidesteps, by the way, holding her flash. She knew that she didn't even have flash in that scenario.
Good scout.
She's still holding it as well. MP not gonna let her walk away that easily, and I think it is important to note as well. You're saying how
Really
much
well
Miss
done.
Teemo has improved. Everyone in this tournament has improved drastically. Not even from the first week that they were as a team, but even from week to week, from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to now week 4. We've seen such huge improvements from all 10 members on the Rift right now.
Yeah, even Ayukura was talking about it in that little interview we did before we got into this game too, about how everyone participating in this event has really leveled up. So, oh boy, 1v1 on the top side. Shysep not quite able to take down Aquatic. Will find plates from that. Meanwhile, Rift drop bots, so Serenity winning on both sides of the map camp.
Serenity will not go down quietly in the first best of 3 for today, now amassing their first 1,000 gold lead of the day as well. Shysept has been left all alone as a Kale, almost winning a 1v1 against her enemy top laner as well. Aquatic looking to try and trade this out, but it's an execute for Shysept. That's how you do it.
You know what, Cam? You said that you liked the gray screen from the pause. I think that's the most positive gray screen I've ever seen from Shysept, as she was able to just sneak in there and get executed on the turret. Just gonna be very happy about that one going back to base. That's a mental win too.
Oh,
as
yeah.
No kill goes over to Aquatic, and Shysept got 2 plates from that push, so she can go back to that lane with quite a bit of power under her, as it looks like she's actually going to be going for at least Kraken Slayer, most likely first on this Kale, so more of an AD variety in the top lane. And that is a build that curves out a little bit better, makes you a little bit stronger earlier in the game. We'll see if Shysep's able to pressure, as Miss Teemo does get caught that time.
Miss Teemo does have flash as well as Shockwave. Really nice flash away from the Cataclysm towards her team, but MP just in reach to finish her off there. No Shockwave burn, but this first or second Dragon even is up on the table. No mid laner for Serenity. Will make this play just a little bit harder.
I like that play from Arcana, as Miss Teemo also down TP, so mid push is in favor of Arcana, and Serenity has to be careful about staying too long in this bot side river. Shapeshift smart on her part to get out of there. and MP, they're going to start up this Dragon. So love to see Arcana shift that pressure, that kill from mid into a neutral objective. So it looks like they're going to split the Dragons.
Split the early game at Dragons 1-1. But remember, the first Rift Herald did go to Serenity for the matter. So for the first Dragon, for the first Rift Herald, I mean, in the end, it is still slightly in the favor of Serenity, depending on how well that Rift Herald does end up going. We do have a Cloud Soul, everybody's favorite soul.
Really? Man,
My favorite soul.
Julian, pastry time. He got you if you're saying that. That's the Atlas influence coming in.
We had a great time. He influenced me as well in the best of twos.
All right, well that's good. I mean, Challenges League, I do love my best.
I'm a best of two enjoyer. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you get choice aside. Each team gets it once. That's the most fair way to play League.
I definitely did not spill my water bottle everywhere.
Don't worry about it. As at the moment, Aloysia, she's going to be able to escape that combo from Aquatic. Next neutral objective that will be up will be that second Rift Herald, but at the moment on the Rift, I do want to credit Serenity. So Yumichi on the Zeri did finish Static Shiv, and I love that Aloysia, once that Shiv's finished, going elsewhere, trying to make an impact on the map, is showing some of the slipperiness there on the Rakan, was able to sneak out of the combo from MP. And you can see the Zeri with the Shiv difference into Ryle, the shove that you get, the amount of pressure you get, that Vayne's always going to be showing bot side. Rakan now gets to impact the map, and Lulu doesn't feel nearly as good on the map as she does in lane. So I really like this play from Serenity. I think that's good macro coming out and good use of having a Shiv bot laner.
That's all well and good, but we don't talk negatives about Lulu on this broadcast, thank you. So, not complaining on this team.
Wow, I was just told.
This team didn't flash, but luckily MP, I mean, MP so far in this game too has been much more willing to pull the trigger on J4 than most J4s I've ever seen. You've seen her flash forward, you've seen them EQ forward a lot more than most junglers would be willing to. Even Shapeshift was willing to last game, remember, on the same exact matchup, but just the different champions.
Yeah, I think MP, again, I think they make good decisions when they do skip camps. We've seen some good moments from MP, but at the moment, I love the decision I'm seeing from Serenity. Yumichi used the Shiv to get one wave in. Ryle will shove that bot wave in herself, but that timer was used for Yumichi to shift up. It's going to be a Herald take from Serenity, and they even TP Shystep bot to catch that wave, so they're going to get the kitchen sink here, and they could drop this Herald top fast to try and get 2 crashes.
Get the kitchen sink and throw it top lane is Serenity's strategy here. Second Rift Herald as well, going to be dropped up top lane. That is the first tower taken across the map here as well. And Aquatic is just not going to be allowed to play top lane nearly as much as she was allowed to play it in game 1. You'll notice as well that Shelly didn't actually crash in that outer turret, so will still be a full HP Rift Herald on the second tower. Ayukura might just be caught out. Yumichi surviving for a very long time, but excellent knockup on Ayukura, shutting her down. TP coming in from the red buff and wall as well, but it's coming out to be a double kill for Yumichi. She's showing up today. Shapeshift takes the triple, but it's not going to matter. 3 really nice picks on the top lane for Serenity.
I love this team play in macro from Serenity. They're using the timers with the Shiv they have from Yumichi so well, as Ryle going to try and pop the ult, but Aloysia able to sneak on out of there. Shockwave pulled. Good Lulu ult from Shirley to stop that grand entrance. All right, I mean, you know what? You're wilding for that wild growth, so I get to make a bad joke. You're gonna root on Lulu the entire time. Yeah, that's fine. So while all that's going on, Serenity through that play, through that second Rift Herald and shifting up, they actually were able to take down that inner turret as well. So it's a 4.5k goldie as we get a second look. Yumichi, she really picks her spot, and Ayukura goes so aggressive. Aloysia has a massive ultimate that finds the grouping, and the TP ensures it is a continuous numbers advantage. And look at Ryle. She was getting that bot wave in, shifted up. When you see the marksman down bot, she's out of the play. There's no TP for the Vayne, so Serenity playing plays off at these timers. They're always going to have a numbers advantage. They're using it really well.
Yumichi was basically left entirely untouched that entire fight, other than the Cataclysm. And the immediate flash out of the Cataclysm basically just negated it entirely, right? As a Zeri, you can E, you can flash, anything to get out of the Cataclysm. Oh my goodness. I would say Yumichi, throughout the entire tournament, we have seen absolutely massive growth from this player, especially from week 2 to week 3 was by far the biggest, where we got to see Yumichi go 8-0-3 on Vayne, as well as 10-1-5 on her very last Zeri game. So I'm very excited that she gets to pop pop off on yet another Zeri game here today.
Yeah, the scoreboard just dropped, but I do want to say that Yumichi does have that second item, Infinity Edge, completed, whereas Ryle, she's working towards that Trinity Force, not close to being completed. So Yumichi going to be massive in this upcoming fight with the IE. She does not have a flash, so there is a potential for Arcana to try and commit into Yumichi, as Shicep is going to get chunked out. There is no empowered TP available for Shicep, so she'll have to live with that HP for this fight. Well played by Arcana. And Ryle,
Shicep is level 11, but she cannot rejoin this fight. But watch Yumichi, she is still massive. Even like the Hextech Ultimatum, you cannot hold her down, and the rest of Serenity will just follow her call. Shirley underneath the tower does go golden to survive just barely. Ayukura as well, walking away, tail between her toes, holds the flash for herself as well. But just like that, it's a second dragon picked up for Serenity.
And again, I really love how Yumichi played out that fight. She was able to get around the Cataclysm and position herself to free fire. Watch this. So Yumichi doesn't have access to flash, but when this engage comes in, of course, Shicep was forced out. It's a decent start from MP, but the immediate charm, Yumichi goes over the wall, dodges out on the Cataclysm, so no one's able to follow up on the Hextech Ultimatum from Aquatic. Ayukura, she can't follow. The Vayne was too far forward, got taken out very early on, and then MP was they were left on the backside of the fight. So I think that how Serenity played that out and how Yumichi position was very good in that fight. And
Polymorph.
honestly, it's looking like we're going to that best of 9 here, Cam, as this game very much in Serenity's favor. You can see Yumichi, yeah, she's pretty happy about how that fight played out.
I'm pretty happy about the Lulu play too, honestly.
Really? It's just Lulu. I can get you some Lulu propaganda going. I feel like that's what this is turning into. Oh, we're in for it.
If anybody really wants me to get excited, you'll pick Bardo for me. That's when I get really excited. Lulu's up there, but not at the same level.
I'll join you on that. There was a couple solo queue counts that featured some of that.
This is true.
Yeah, maybe we see that throughout the day.
This is very true. Somebody pick a Bardo, and I will buy all of your merch.
It's that easy?
It's that easy.
Wow. I mean, I can't turn down that offer. That's how you do sales right there. Meanwhile, Shapeshift, she's getting forced out of the river. Ayukura does go wide with that scatter, but Serenity still complete control. 7K gold lead. Baron's up in 25 seconds. Is MP going to pull the trigger on Miss Teemo, who is missing flash?
Might be caught. She is an Orianna just solo in the Cataclysm, but there's just not enough follow-up. MP surviving for so long with that wild growth, but will still eventually not go down, by the way. She's still alive in your backline, but you gotta watch Yumichi. She is the problem. Double kill now picked up for Shapeshift as well. Ayukura forced to flash away, but doesn't have anywhere left to run. The mid tower is gone, and so is their team. It's the clean ace for Serenity.
And straight into the Baron as Arcana, they're trying to pull the trigger, trying to play fast, but this area's just gotten too big, too out of control. It's a decent plan to Miss Teemo, who is missing flash, but again, Ryle wasn't in position to follow up on this, so the damage was missing. Miss Teemo was able to escape, and when you blow all those cooldowns into one champion that gets out, guess what? Yumichi, she's been the problem this entire game, and she was able, with that KO ult to be empowered, to cruise through the rest of this fight for Serenity.
So well played by Serenity. I mean, this is their comfort zone, right? Like, we talk about being down as a comfort zone, but they were down 0-1 coming into this game too, right? Now they're up 11,500 gold on Arcana, something that Arcana didn't even do to them game 1. Hell, I don't think anyone has done it all in this tournament yet as 11,000 gold lead. Polymorph on the Shysept. Level 14 on the Kale, not quite level 16. She's putting a whole lot of damage on Epi. Epi just might able to fake her feet her way out of that one, but shutdown picked up for Ayukura. Shapeshift might not be done with this one quite yet, though. Ayukura could be the next one picked. Epi Sin real low will finally end up going down. Ayukura as well. Really nice follow-up by Serenity. They pick one, but what do they lose?
I gotta give so much props to the bot lane of Serenity as they are truly leaping forward in this one. Look at this scoreline. As Yumichi and Aloysia, keep in mind, they were double counterpicked with the Vayne Lulu coming in later. The fact that they were able to overcome that and put together this massive game necessary to keep them in this tournament as Serenity, they're cruising to a victory here, Cam, and I think you're right. Step 1 of the game 6 being achieved here. It looks like we're going to a game 3.
Our previous fastest win time of the LCS Game Changers was 23 minutes and 1 second by Serenity against Astro Cats just last weekend. We are at just about 22 minutes this game, so I don't think they'll be beating a 23-minute win time, but they're definitely very much up there right now, and wow, they're already taking inhibitors this fast.
think it's going to be a reset. I like that. Playing things a little bit safe. The record doesn't matter, you know? You just got to make sure you make it to that Game 3, that rubber match. Give us the best 9 that we're looking for between these two teams, as, of course, both looking for the right to compete in grand finals against Astro Cats right after this best of 3. But I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Astro Cats to get on the stage cam, as this turnaround, this bounce back from Yumichi and Aloysia. We saw some moments from these two players later in that Game 1, but this time around when their lane went a lot better, you could see how well that they were able to play things out on this Arcana pick that Aloysia was really just started playing this past week. It's been so big for her already in this tournament, as Envy, they're running for the hills. Aloysia.
Envy, Aquatic is just dead, by the way. Charm lands onto Envy. They do not have the flash. Cataclysm onto 3, but there's not a team to follow up. Really nicely done double kill yet again for Yumichi. She's now sitting 7-1-10 with, by the way, a 700 shutdown on her head. She's maintained a massive CS lead, not only in this game, but last game as well. You get 2 picks on the bot side, turn that right to the Nexus.
I think that's going to be it, Cam. Beautiful game from Serenity, as Yumichi going to leap forward, see if you can get more.
See if you can get a little bit more back in the fountain, but just like that, Serenity will be taking us to a Game 3 for our 3rd place match.
Love the play that we saw from the bot side, as Shysep, that's a deep breath. Yeah, you earned a Game 3 up there, Serenity. The Kale came in for Shysep, and then the bot play, that early 1-for-1, and how the Serenity was really able to transition things from there. Props to Yumichi again, a marksman I think very highly of, as I do really all the marksmen in this tournament, but Yumichi, when she's able to go in, she's a Samira player originally. You can really see when she is able to pick her spots, how well she can do with just stepping forward, pumping out damage, and always positioning so that she's able to continue to hit not just a target, but the right targets.
In our first ever League of Legends Best of 9 here at the Riot Games Arena, we are moving on to the Game 9. We've had the 1-to-1 against these two teams every single best of 2, and yet again, if this was the best of 2, it would be yet another 1-to-1. But we do not end it here. Finally, we get the best of 3. Finally, we get to the tiebreaker that will decide it all. Who is finally going to move up to the Astro Cats for the finals just later today.
Love seeing Yumichi there. She was pretty happy about that one. I can't blame her when you think about the scoreline too, as that Sari pretty big for her. Now moves to 3-2 on the pick, her most played in the tournament. Will have to be something that Arcana is aware of going to the rubber match, as I'm going to say I expect them to have blue side for the next game.
Probably.
But, you know, Serenity, they're trying to leapfrog their way into grand finals. And that's step 1 right there. Taking first game, we'll see if they can make it a second.
Leapfrog to finals or leapfrog back to the analysis desk segment, where we will see once again what they have to say for us about the game number 2.
Boo, all the frog puns. Welcome back. No, just kidding. Welcome back to the analyst desk / lounge, whatever we're calling ourselves now. As you can see, Basil is still with us. We're going to be doing another drawing game, except now we're going to be drawing the team fight in bot lane that was around tier 2. We're gonna have a very short amount of time to do this. It's probably gonna end up being kind of cursed. Jolly's gonna time us.
Yep.
All right, count us down. We're ready.
All right, you guys have 30 seconds, and now you have 22 seconds.
Oh God. Okay.
You now have 18 seconds.
I don't even have a turret down
Luckily,
yet.
I studied my numbers before coming here today, so you guys have 12 seconds.
Oh, okay. Here.
You have 18 seconds again. No, down to 8. I can say whatever I want here. 5, 4, 3,
Oh God.
2, 1. Pens down,
Okay,
pens down.
There you go.
Oh wait. Yeah, I like Ashley's already. Mine is terrible because I didn't actually get to draw them collapsing, so I just started drawing people dying.
That's a nice tower, though.
with little, yeah, I got the turret in there, and I got the skulls and crossbones for dead bodies, and that's about it. I am not winning this.
Like we were supposed to talk about team fights, and I thought
True.
that everyone's just gonna talk about, you know, Yumichi had like amazing highlights on Jerry, like in a 1v string, both at the top side red as well as like the near the Drake. But my top laner bias kicked in, and I just decided I'm gonna draw the most memorable.
You just did fail, right? Right, yeah.
in the game anyway. So that was like Shysept getting like, executed at the top lane because this was a very important, and I'm sure that Shysept was proud of it. She handled early game pressure super, super well. I don't know. I just completely diverted from the original topic, but I'm happy with myself.
Good use of time.
Yeah, I can tell what's going on, which is better than I can say for mine.
All right, give me the cats.
So for mine, I didn't have enough time for cats. Started drawing the towers and realized I had like 18 seconds left. I forgot how many people died and how many people showed up. So this person was supposed to be dead, but then I didn't think there was that many people there. I don't know, I lost count. But this is supposed to be Yumichi with a gun.
I like the gun,
Big
yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
And then collateral.
I like the aggro face.
Yeah, the
too,
mad.
going
I don't
on
know what
there.
happened
Come
here.
at me.
Like there's like 4
There's a lot of anger.
don't
Yeah,
know.
I can feel it.
Emotion.
I can feel the aggression.
Yep, all right. Based on the amount of time that you guys were given, I gotta give it a she's like, I know. That's a pretty good kale. It's very pretty. I like your little, I like the little swirlies as well.
I'm gonna hide mine in shame. Basil brought it up though. Yumichi, we talked about her game 1, where she almost brought it back on the Xayah. This time on the Zeri, actually ended up popping off in a lot of their mid-game fights.
I was so impressed with the amount of, this is the one. I was screaming. I apologize to production because I was absolutely shouting in their ears. The Zeri does so much damage. Perfectly timed flashes as well. The engage and disengage that we're seeing out of Serenity for this game in particular looks so much cleaner than in game number 1.
Yeah, and I think obviously one of the things, I know Ashley wants me to bring this up, one of the things that did make room for that is how well Shysept was able to deal with that topside pressure, and you're gonna see her coming in later on in this as well. But yeah, they could never, even with all the tools they had, quite get onto the Zeri. Obviously, Zeri is an incredibly slippery champion that we've been seeing a lot of over the course of this year that we've all been super jazzed about, right? To see her constantly. But yeah, I mean, Yumichi, I know Cubby brought it up how much he kind of respects her ability to teamfight. I think we saw a lot of the improvement and stuff that we were talking about with Serenity going in. And now as we pull up the post-game breakdown of that game, we're now going into, what did they say, best of 9?
Yep, ninth game out of 9 games, right? This is literally the furthest it could have possibly gone between these two teams. It has been 1-1 throughout the 3 weeks of the exhibition matches, and now we're going to see a full series.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, again, if you're comparing what this looks like to the first game, it's definitely the absence of damage coming out of Ryle, right? Like we talked about how they wanted to go topside to try to really shut down that Kayle. Shysept dealt with that pressure really well. And then Yumichi was getting these trades in the bot lane when it was actually Arcana starting off in those 2v2s early on.
Like, I think initially we were really worried that Serenity has a very, very late game comp, having like a lot of champions that will excel in late game team fights, such as Orianna and Zeri and Kayle. And I think that actually diversed the potential carry threats to several different lanes. So as soon as Serenity was able to get over the initial hump of getting into the mid game, I knew that they were going to succeed.
Going into game 3 of the series, Arcana selects blue side. We did predictions at top of day. Has anyone changed? Basil, you weren't here for this, but who's winning game 3? Quick.
I'm gonna double down Serenity. They got it.
Okay.
I honestly think after this win, Serenity is looking really strong. First loss didn't seem to bother them, so I think maybe they are going to come on top.
Nice.
I don't know. Now I feel like I have to say Arcana because I want to say completely fair because I initially said it was Serenity. So if I say Arcana now, it's like completely even. And also I just have to go back to the trial and true. Blue side does matter. And then we once again, go back to the blue side for Arcana. So I think that's going to matter a lot.
Blue side does matter. Obviously, that's one of the things that allowed the Kayle actually coming through. And also the Orianna. We will see what happens in game 3. Just a reminder, winner qualifies to face Astrocats in the final later on this afternoon. We'll see game 3 on the other side of the break.
All right, we have to win this one, guys.
We will.
We will. We literally will.
Play for Yumichi, play for Yumichi.
I can peel Yumichi, I can peel Yumichi.
Jarvan.
Okay, nice.
Let's go.
I can start, but there's not enough follow-up. Envy's surviving for so long with that wild growth. The will is still a